Watching it all has been CTV's senior political correspondent, Glen McGregor. Glen, thanks for joining us here in studio. Let's start with that moment. We've seen a lot from this commission so far. Freedom Corp lawyer Brendan Miller was removed from the commission. We have the video that we'll play as we're talking about it here. Tell me exactly what happened.
Yeah, so Brendan Miller rose on essentially an objection saying he wanted to get another witness onto the schedule of people who are testifying this week, which is, as you know, are all cabinet ministers or top cabinet minister staff. And he was talking about Marco Mendicino's communications director, a guy named Alexander Cohen, sort of mid-level. I mean, he's a ministerial staffer, an exempt staffer, political staffer. He decided he wanted to get him to called to testify to answer questions about not sure exactly what. And then he has this clash with Judge Paul Rouleau, the commissioner of the inquiry, about the procedure. Rouleau says you got to file a written application if you want to do that. We're not amending. We're on a very tight schedule. They got to get everything done by the end of this week. There's some back and forth between them. It gets snippy. Rouleau basically says he's had enough, and he orders security to escort the convoy organizer's lawyer out of the hearing room and out of the building, out of National Archives, and the National Library and Archives. Yeah, and like right out onto the street. It was, honestly, I've covered a lot of court cases. I'm not sure I've ever seen a lawyer tossed out of a courtroom before.
Another first.
It was a little bizarre, and it was a day of firsts. So yes, that was quite unusual. And Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino sitting there, kind of going like, "What is happening here?" It was very strange.
At the same time, his testimony was interesting. He talked about that threshold moment when he thought that it was time to sort of act. What was that?
The threshold moment for him was the night before the invocation of the Emergencies Act, and he gets a telephone call from possibly the afternoon before, from Brenda Lucki, the commissioner of the RCMP, who he speaks to on a regular basis, of course, because he is the minister responsible for the RCMP, and she lets him in on kind of a police secret, and that is the RCMP has 2 undercover officers in the field in Coutts, Alberta, at the blockade there. Lucki is very concerned. She's worried about the potential of violence. They believe there are guns there. They think the people who are there that have access to these guns are very committed to their cause. They're dug in. She's warning there is a potential for violence. Mendicino is obviously quite rattled by this, at least according to his testimony. He calls this, as you say, his threshold moment. This is where everything kind of crystallizes. And he says he's got to talk to the Prime Minister. So he sends a message to Katie Telford, the Chief of Staff to the Prime Minister. She apparently sets up this call, and Mendicino shares this information about the fact there are 2 RCMP officers undercover at this moment. Got to keep that very secret because their lives are potentially at risk. He shares this with the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister only. Of course, the next day, Cabinet meets. They take all these, what they've called inputs, all this information they're getting from all these different sources about the economy, about the security situation, about the policing situation, and they ultimately decide that they are going to invoke the Emergencies Act. But according to Mendicino's testimony, that moment, that phone call with Brenda Lucki was a pivotal moment. And he also said he had no doubts that Lucki believed invocation of the act was the right course to take. We've heard some conflicting testimonies, conflicting things. Mendicino had earlier said that no law enforcement officials had advised him to invoke the act. Kind of backed away from that position today. He says that they were clearly asking for things that the act eventually gave them, the new authorities, the new powers. So anyway, interesting testimony, and we'll see more of this kind of thing as the week goes.
I just want to go back to Brendan Miller for a second, that lawyer from Freedom Corp. You know, he's facing a potential legal challenge right now and questions that he made at this inquiry. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Mr. Miller has been using his cross-examination yesterday of David Vino, the director of CSIS, and again today of Marco Mendicino, to advance this theory that he claims to have determined the identity of a masked person who was on the first weekend of the convoy carrying a Nazi flag around. He's named him, and I'm not going to name him because it's libelous to do it, defamatory, and I'm not sure the protection that Mr. Miller has in a
Safer not
legal
to.
setting. Yeah,
safer not to.
Anyway, he's a Toronto. Works for a communications a company down there. Miller is alleging that this company was somehow acting at behest of the Liberal Party, possibly at the behest of even Katie Telford, because he brought her name up against, suggesting that she has some connection to the firm, and that this person did this with the intent of discrediting the convoy movement. Miller says that he has an affidavit from a witness who can positively identify this person. And we've had all the communications from their company, including a letter from their lawyers saying this guy was nowhere near Ottawa, was never in Ottawa.
He was in Toronto.
He was in Toronto, and he's also a conservative, and he was a supporter of Pierre Poilievre during the leadership, and says the whole thing is defamatory, absurd, despicable, they used. But Mr. Miller has cover because there is a qualified privilege that attaches to lawyers that protects them from defamation actions for things they say in a legal setting. People were jumping on the fact that he repeated it outside the National Archives after he got tossed out. My understanding is that privilege, that he says something inside the courtroom, or in this case, the hearing room, comes outside and repeats it, that privilege would probably carry over.
Right.
So he's probably safe from any defamation action. But again, it was a totally bizarre moment. Maybe, ultimately, in the last week, he will produce evidence that shows that this person really was the guy carrying the Nazi flag. It seems improbable at this point. But
to be continued either way.
To be continued.
Yes, and we will continue watching as you have.
Yeah.
CTV News senior political correspondent Glen McGregor, thanks so much for this. I appreciate it.